All right, welcome to the Sweet Talk. Today is Monday, December 30th, 2019. Woohoo! The last Sweet Talk show of the decade. And today I have on my show Mr. Stacy Ford from Oklahoma. He is a K-5 librarian and he's a technology integrator as well. So welcome, Stacy, to my show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I mean, I know you have a lot to offer and a lot to say. We were talking about your role in education as a librarian. So why don't you tell the audience like what your role is and what you do and how you showcase student work in the library and what options and technology tools you use with the students.
Well, I am a pre-K to 5 teacher librarian, and so I work with teachers across those grade levels, and I work on what in librarian world we call a flexible schedule. So I kind of work with teachers and students at the point of need. So when they're planning a lesson, like I might see them for 5 days in a row, or 2 days in a week, and then I may not see them again for a few weeks. And so that's kind of how we work. And so when we'll plan together, and um, a lot of times I'm the person who kind of offers like a technology idea of how we can like kind of change something that they've done in the past, and kind of give it a little bit more of a techie twist, not to just kind of to make the learning, kind of this carrot that they can kind of be engaged in. So I collaborate with teachers and we co-teach together. And sometimes that's me like taking on a technology component. Sometimes that's us kind of sharing that technology component. But I really feel like in my role as a teacher librarian, I'm able to come alongside them and share some new tools with them that they can then go and take back to their classroom. So it's just part of my job as a librarian. I mean, I still have those kind of like those traditional roles that people would think of as a librarian as like the literacy influencer in the school, and but definitely like technology and components, especially in my school district. That's kind of how we're kind of looking at this school.
That's really interesting because, I'm from New Jersey and I know you're from Oklahoma. So, the roles of the librarian have changed over the years. You hear a lot of people still have a traditional library, but they offer like a makerspace as well in the library, or they offer, like literacy. Lessons so students can learn about research and maybe digital literacy. So the role of the librarian has definitely evolved over time, and it's nice to see that your school or your school district has evolved with those times as well. Oh,
Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I think it's really important. Just like education is changing. I mean, my role as a librarian can't be static. It's always evolving. I think I've been a librarian for about 12 years, and it's changed a lot in that 12 years. So it's just you always have to be ready to go um, where it takes you. And so I think it's an exciting time to be in education and to be a school librarian.
So tell us some of the things that you do in the library to help integrate um, technology with your core subject area teachers.
Okay. So I was thinking about, one of my favorite examples of something that I've done in the past is called, I, I would do this animal smackdown unit with third grade as part of their life science unit on animals and study of animals. And so, you know, it's really easy for kids in our world today to go out and find facts about animals. And so we want to, in my district as librarians and teachers and leaders in our district, we want our kids to be able to take knowledge and apply that to some other things. So when they were doing this life science unit, I said, what if we did like this animal smackdown? And so we did an animal smackdown, and they created templates in Google PowerPoint not Google PowerPoint, Google presentation, I shared a template where they made trading cards. And so they were able to do like that classic reporting aspect, but they also had to provide information on like why their animal could beat another animal, any given animal in a battle per se. And so we kind of did that, and I would do the Google Hangout Live on air and broadcast it to the classrooms. That's what I did the first year, and then they would kind of vote. And the cool thing about that is I had 4 sections of third grade, and so like there were these huge tournament brackets, and they were kind of competing, but they were having to analyze between two animals.
I think we just lost you for a little bit there. Can you repeat
So
what you just said?
that was one example. Currently, this is really trying to be a bot. And we also have gone one-to-one in iPads in third and fourth grade and MacBooks. And so I'm trying to integrate iMovies with them. And as part of that, like I try to showcase some work on YouTube, and that seems to be kind of a really exciting thing for students right now to be able to create a YouTube type channel.
So their YouTube channel is within the school domain, correct?
Yeah. So we have Google AdWords, and so what I have been doing is that I have been I would upload their videos from iPads or MacBooks onto my own YouTube channel, and I would kind of privately list those so they weren't open to the public, but then I could share that with their teachers. Their teachers can share that with parents, things like that. But I told you earlier, Kim, like thinking about this, what we were going to be talking about, I tried it with my own third grader to see if she could upload to a YouTube channel, and so she was able to upload a project that her class had done with some like force in motion with Kiva planks that they made iMovies about, and so she was able to upload that to her account. So yeah, it's available district wide in my probably it kind of depends on grade level. She's in third grade, so I think I don't know that's open below third, but I think it's probably open in second.
Oh, that's really cool that you do that with your elementary school students, because a lot of schools have YouTube blocked because they feel like it's not an educational piece that belongs in the classroom. And, it depends on, the content obviously that you're showing and what you're actually doing with the students with YouTube. But a lot of the kids, they already know about YouTube. They watch videos to learn things about, their curiosity on things. They watch YouTube videos, so they already know how to manipulate YouTube to a certain degree. You're just showing them how to be more of a creator of YouTube, which I think is important.
Yeah, I want my students to be creators of knowledge, to be able to share their understandings with others. And I think that synthesis gives them the ability to really be able to be rooted in what we're teaching them. Librarian, when we talk about YouTube, I feel like we should be at the point. YouTube's been around for over a decade, that we should understand like it's not going away, and have our own channels like parts to teach them what things that you do curate, what are your standards for, this is an educational account, like with my kids, students I've worked with a little bit talking about YouTube, like they're really excited at the idea of a YouTube account. But my own daughter, I had to teach her, this is an educational account, so you're going to curate things that matter for your education, and because she is passionate about many things, and so she would have a lot of random things on. But that's part of
Yeah,
our job is to like teach.
yeah, I totally agree. I think it's great that you're doing that, because like I'm in middle school, and we have YouTube open for our students, and I use YouTube for my students, to create like tutorials and playlists so that they can, learn at their own pace for different directions that I'm doing for technology projects. But I think it's a great idea that you're actually having the kids use YouTube and create their own work, because I think that's important. We a lot of schools are missing out on it because, like I said, YouTube is blocked, but the schools that have it open, I never heard of anyone uh, being proactive in allowing their students to be a creator of YouTube. You're the first one on the show that talk about having their students have their own YouTube channel, active YouTube channel, in their EDU account. So it's nice to hear that different perspective on it. Like I said, teachers use YouTube as a resource for tutorials and playlists and different things like that. But to have the students create and use their own YouTube channel is another aspect of it. And it's nice to hear that you as a librarian is doing that with your kids.
And I think like with YouTube, it gives students an authentic audience. Even if that authentic audience are their classmates or people in their grade level that are consuming the content that everyone is learning, it gives them that sense of authority and power over their learning and the demonstration of that. And also, just if their parents are able just to share, like if their teachers share those links with their parents and or through Seesaw or different apps, like things like that, it just kind of creates this authentic way to share what they have learned, and kind of that's empowering. I mean, I think you and I and everyone takes pleasure in something that we made, people being able to see and take to get something from that. And so I think YouTube is a really good vehicle for getting the power to do that. And so, um,
So what are some tech tools, or what are some, because you were breaking up before, and I didn't quite hear you. So what was some of the tech tools that you've used along with the project, to
mhm.
showcase student work? And then I know you uploaded it to YouTube, but what was that initial um, piece? Like, did they use iMovie to create their
Mhm.
videos on for their project, and then they uploaded it to YouTube?
Yeah, the easiest way that I've been able to do it is using iMovie, and that's because we're at Apple. We have Apple products, but um, so and I always like I heard Chris Nessy say this, that it's just like crash, burn, and learn. So that's what I talk with my kids about. And so we last year we did, and we did this again this year. It was really, but we they were setting force in motion, and so we built. Do you know what Kiva planks are? They're like little planks about like Jenga blocks, but they're thinner, and you can build towers. So they built towers, and the towers are 6 feet tall with these planks. They roll a softball at the Kiva plank tower, and they would make predictions of, I think the tower will fall forward, backward, to the left, to the right, and they. So I taught them with the iPad how to do the time lapse video, and I taught them how to do it in selfie. And they used the camera, but they did all the videoing of like the time lapse, and then we would do a slow motion of the tower falling. And so they had all the videos, and then so that took me 2 days. That was a 2-day activity of just like filming and practicing with the Kiva plank so that they could get to the point of making predictions. And then in a 30, these kids had never really used iMovie. In a third grade class, they confessed, 3 people confessed to using iMovie before. So it could have been 3, it could have been 1, it could have been 0, because they're very eager to say that they've done things. But in 30 minutes, literally 30 minutes, we're all able to make an iMovie with music, with transitions. Some of them were even able to put titles in their movie, and that activity was just a low key activity, but for me on how to make iMovies in a really way that they were excited about. And so now that's a skill that they have in their pocket. That we do something, maybe I'm going to teach them podcasting, but they're going to be able to have like a choice of, you can do an iMovie, do podcast, you can create a Google presentation. And so I think it's really important to give them low key ways to, like that Kiva Plank Tower. It wasn't the most impactful content lesson, but it did reinforce the content, and it gave them the skill that they're going to be able to use until they're forever. So iMovie was really easy, and I pretty much, sometimes I can just upload directly, like my what it has been recorded on. So it's not always iMovie. Sometimes it's uploading like a ChattePix, like um, or a Flipgrid to YouTube.
That's interesting. So what is ChattePix?
So ChattePix is an app that is really good for, probably any grade level. I really like to use it with lower grades because it's really easy to make a mistake and it not really matter because you can just correct it really quick. But you take a picture of anything. So for example, before Christmas break, my pre-K had done gingerbread men. So I low-key introduced ChatterPix to one of those classes, and I just took pictures of each kid's gingerbread man, and then I lost the mouth.
Stacy, you're breaking up.
And
can you repeat that again?
You can. So on ChatterPix, you draw a line across the mouth, and the student, like, you just press record, and there's a younger version and an older version. The younger version says 3, 2, go, and so the kids would say, "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And they were pre-K kids. Again, it's super cute. And so their teacher took that iPad and she dropped all of those into their Seesaws. But I've also curated them all into one iMovie, and then the teacher just shares the link with all the parents because that teacher didn't use Seesaw.
That's cool. Okay. I've seen a tool similar to ChatterPix before. Now that you explained it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. I've seen that before. I just didn't know that was ChatterPix. Mm-hmm. That's cool though. Yeah, the kids probably get a big kick out of that,
Yeah, and I think, again, it was low key that teacher can now use ChatterPix to do other things to check her students' understanding. They're going to engage them. And they know that they're going to have this authentic audience of their parents or mates to be able to see those things.
Now, so you mentioned you use Seesaw. So do you use that as like a digital portfolio for the kids too?
ChatterPix or?
No, Seesaw.
I don't use it as a digital portfolio for kids as the school librarian because I have about 100 kids and I haven't figured out logistically how to make that work for myself. That's not to say that it can't be done. That's just saying I don't know how to do it. But my teacher, the pre-K, does it, the student portfolio for her students, drops in their work, so she was able to drop those ChatterPix directly into their folder in Seesaw.
Well, that's really cool. I think what you're doing is great. I like that you're aligning and working and co-teaching with your peers because it takes a village, right?
Right.
I mean, we all have to be working together to be successful. So it's like I'm a technology teacher in the middle school in New Jersey, and I do the same thing. I co-teach with the teacher, and they would teach the content, and then I teach the technology. And so the kids come to my class and they'll finish their project, or they'll create a new project with the content that they're learning in their class. So it's a nice balance, because like you would know, they come to you in the library, and it's a different scene. They're using tech. They're a little bit more, I feel they're a little more engaged. They want to be there. It's naturally engaging to the kids when they're using technology. So I feel like you already hooked them by just integrating technology and aligning it with their content area. You know what I mean? So I'm like in a similar situation as you are, or position. It's just that I'm not a librarian. I'm a technology teacher. So I think it's all relevant. It's just, we're all working together to try to make the students be exposed to technology. Oh, and we just lost Stacy. So let me see if I can invite him back. Hold on. And if we don't get him back, that's okay, because the show was going to wrap up anyway. But I think it's important to wrap it up. I think it's important to be able to expose the students to different levels of technology, and as long as it's aligning with the content, I think that's what's important and what needs to be available to them, so that they can, when they get older, try to maybe have, there he is, maybe even have some type of student choice available to them, so that they can maybe pick a different tool, or maybe pick what they want to showcase their work in. So, if you expose them to be creators in the elementary school, obviously, it's going to follow them throughout their, their years in middle school and high school as well. So all the work that you're doing in the elementary school will definitely pay off. It's just sometimes we don't see it right away, but it does pay off. So I know I lost you. I was just going on and trying to wrap up and share basically what you were saying about having the students be creators and stuff. And I was just kind of wrapping that up and sharing how important it was for them to be able to be exposed to these skills and align what they're learning in class with the tech, so that they can be creators in their own environment. So what we're gonna do? Hold on, Stacy. I can't even hear you now. Whoa! What happened? Let me see. So, can you hear me? All right. I don't know why I can't hear you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the show. I'm going to share my screen real quick. And so if you would like to find out more about what Stacy does in his school, the episode will be posted on my website. So you can visit thesweettalk.com. That's the SUITE talk.com. His episode will be posted here on the homepage, and it will also be in the episode and podcast list page. And this is where you can also find past episodes that were recorded. The YouTube link is here, as well as the show notes. So you can check that out. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, join the Facebook group for the Sweet Talk, follow me on Twitter and my blog, subscribe to the newsletter. You can also listen on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, and Google Podcasts. And if you scroll through the homepage here, you can also fill out the guest inquiry form, and you can share your expertise on my show and share your story, so that we can help others, integrate technology effectively in the classroom. And you can see the schedule here as well. So that's it, basically. That wraps up the show for today. And what I'm going to do is go back to Stacy. So let me stop sharing my screen. There we are. And that's it, basically. So I want to thank Stacy for being on. I know we had a little technical difficulties, but he did get his point across, and he did actually make a lot of great shout outs to iMovie and ChattePix and iPads as well. So I want to thank Stacy for being on, and I want to wish everyone a happy and healthy new year. I want to thank everybody for watching my show or listening to my show. Next month, I'm going to be starting my second year of the Sweet Talk, and I'm just so thankful that this has taken the road to my show is taking me this far. It's just unbelievable, and it's been a great journey, and I hope to continue to bring more shows like this to help other educators around the world. So thank you for following me, and I really appreciate it. So until next time, Happy New Year, and I will see you next year. Bye.